and they'll try to tell you that it's actually the name of Baal, and just by reading it, automatically you're going to hell just by reading the King James Bible. That's what they're trying to tell you. And it's a setup. This guy here, Dwight Nelson, you say, Pastor, you shouldn't talk about other brothers like that. I'm not. I don't talk about my brothers that way. I don't. You believe the King James Bible? You and me got the same dad. But when you try to tell me and try to tell my people and try to tell everybody else that their Bible is a pagan blend of false doctrine and then slip into them that they really should be embracing Allah, you are not my brother. And I'm required by Scripture to say that's a wolf in sheep's clothing. That is a false apostle, a deceitful worker. He is appearing as an angel of light and an apostle of light, and he's not. That's the requirement that we have. So you know what, people? You just might as well, and I've said this before, come out of the camp. Come out of those denominations, come out of those churches, come out of that stuff, and just stand still. Just stand on the Word of God. You and your husband or your wife, you're going to that church and all this stuff is going on. You know what? If you'll just, Pastor, I don't know what to do. Just stand. Don't budge. And you'll find out, you'll look around one day and you'll find out that your church that you go to is so far away from what you really believe in. You didn't leave the church. They pulled away from you. All you did was stand still. That's what you did. That's what we're told to do in the Scriptures. Stand. Don't move. Don't budge. Don't walk away with them. Here's what happens when you take the Bible out of your country. Let me pull up Drudge Report here. Navy Yard gunman was treated by U.S. for serious mental illness. He was hearing voices. Oh, I believe it. That I believe. I believe that he was hearing voices. I don't know, and so I won't say, he was hearing voices. His CIA handlers had programmed him, and they had an implant in his brain, and they were telling him to do this. He was in the MK Ultra program. That's what he was. He was mind-controlled. I don't know that. I don't know that, and you don't either. And the guy who wrote that on the internet does not know that. Here's what I know. He was hearing voices. Okay. If he was hearing voices, what were those voices? You remember Son of Sam? You remember Son of Sam? Okay. I almost said Alan Dershowitz. Berkowitz. It was the other Jew. Okay. Just as dangerous, though. But Son of Sam was hearing voices telling him to go kill these people. What was that? That was familiar spirits, is what that was. That was, let's open our Bible here. Let's stick with reality. Let's stick with reality in conspiracy theories. Was this guy was he handled by the CIA or some organization like that? You know, it could be. I don't know that. And so I can't tell everybody, oh, yeah, he was handled. Oh, yeah, and then there's crisis actors, and it was obvious, and this and that. I don't know that. And so I just don't fall all over myself when stuff like that is being talked about on the internet. What I look at this, and to be honest with you, I was so engrossed yesterday in studying power and powers in the Scriptures. I did not know this happened until 5 o'clock last night. I finally got home. Me and the wife, we had a little bite to eat, and then when I went home, turned the news on, and I'm going, what? When did this happen? Lisa, this must just happen. No, it happened like at 8 o'clock this morning. I didn't even know it happened. Ephesians 2, verse 1, and you hath he quickened who were dead in trespasses and sins. That used to be us. Wherein in time past you walked according to the course of this world. Now, there is a course that this world is on. And all these churches and denominations are on this same course, and all the governments are on this same course. According to the prince, there's a principality right there of the power of the air. There's one of the elements. The spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Let me go to Drudge Report. I don't have the graphics for this. Go to Drudge Report and look at it. The lead article, Navy Yard shooter obsessed with violent video games. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? I started collecting information on video games. The spirit that is working, one of them, here's what caught my eye. I was walking by, what is that software game store in the mall, GameStop or something like that. Anyway, I walk by there and I see the big poster in the window that says Injustice, the Gods Among Us. And I mentioned that during the Comic-Con series. I'm looking at that and I'm going, okay, video games and gods. Let's just think about this for a minute. So I started taking notes. I started looking at all the video games they had in the store, and I'm pulling. I mean, you should see me on there, and I'm pulling out, looking at them, going, The guy's going, hey, can I help you? You know, hey, that's a cool game. No, I just want to take a picture of the cover. And the guy's going, what is he doing? It's crazy. I'm looking at a spirit that is working in the video game industry. It's doing it in the movies. It's doing it in TV shows and commercials and magazines and comic books and in video games. And this guy is hooked on violent video games. I bet that you can make a phone call and call 3 people. If you don't know somebody, you know somebody that does know someone, usually a young man, that is hooked on Halo 3 and all these violent video games. Halo 3, I don't even know if that's one. I think it is. Hooked on these things, shooter games, first person, third person shooter games, first person especially. And I never really, this doesn't interest me at all. I did play several years ago, I played Half-Life 2. And that's really when they first started working on networked games where you can be sitting there in your underwear playing this video game and you've got this headset on because all these other people, guys around the country, are sitting there in their underwear with headsets on and you're all on the same team. That just never interested me. But anyway, you sit there and you spend 4, 5, 6 hours a day shooting people. And the seller of any video game is that the more lifelike the producers of the game can make it, the better it is. The more expensive it is, but the better it is. Even if you look on the iPad or the Android tablets, the $10 video games, and in an iPad terms, $10 is a lot of money to spend on an app. But the $10 video games are the ones with the best graphics, the one with the most blood spurts, and you spend 3 or 4 hours a day killing people. And we're supposed to think now that has no effect on us whatsoever as a society. That's crazy. But anyway, so that's what you're getting when you look at this. You look at what's going on. He's obsessed with violent video games. You know what that tells me? There's a spirit there. He's hearing voices. I get that. Attended a Buddhist temple. I'm just looking at some of the headlines here. Let's see here. And then we have Obama implementing executive actions following Navy Yard shooting. President Barack Obama on Monday wearily lamented yet another mass shooting, this time in the nation's capital, where the debate that raged earlier this year over tightening firearms laws has stalled amid opposition from gun rights advocates. The shooting at the Washington Navy Yard came a week after voters recalled 2 Colorado legislators who supported tougher gun measures, illustrating the strong political headwinds faced by lawmakers seeking to respond to the violence. Obama, for one, has been, and if you look at this, go to CBS DC, washington.cbslocal.com. Look at this story. It's got Obama's head with this presidential seal like a halo around his head. That is done on purpose. I guarantee you it's done on purpose. In the wake of the shooting at the Navy Yard, Obama spokesman Jay Carney said the president is implementing executive actions and reiterated his commitment to strengthening gun laws, including expanding background checks to sales online and at gun shows. I mean, so within a day, they're already taking advantage of the situation. Whether it was politically contrived or not, they're taking advantage of the situation by clamping down on gun owners' rights to keep and to bear arms, to violate the Constitution. That is the precise point that I was making in the teaching on principalities, was the Constitution means nothing to the New World Order. It means absolutely nothing to these people. They're not going to go by the rule of law. They're going to go by the rule of dictatorship. How do you get there? You got to dissolve the Constitution so you can coagulate the dictator. And that's the purpose. And I don't have to know the chain of who the shooter was, and who his CIA handler was, and who this was, and who that was, and it links all the way back to Obama. I don't have to know that chain. What I have to know and believe in is what this book says. There is a spirit involved, a spirit that is working in the children of disobedience. And let me just say this. These spirits, they usually leave their mark. I mean, if you go out in the woods and deer season's coming up. Yeah. How do I know if a deer has been around? How did I know that it was a deer that ate all 24 of my green tomatoes in my garden this year? How do I know it was a deer? Maybe it was my father-in-law. Maybe it was my next door neighbor. No, it was a deer. How do I know? He left tracks in the garden. Deer tracks. Okay? They had their cloven hoof and they mash it down into the ground, and you look and say that's a deer track there. Okay? Or you say, oh no, that's a coyote there. That's this and that's that. If you know your tracks, you know that they've been there. And beasts, spirits, usually leave some kind of mark behind, that there was a connection to that. And so I get home last night and I hear that there's a shooting. Okay, well, we've had another shooting. Here is, in fact, there is, let's see if I can find it here amongst these pieces of paper. Where is it? Hang on here. Michelle, who does really good research, Michelle sent me a link to an email. Where is it? The number of mass shootings that have taken place in the United States of America since Barack Hussein became president. Where is it? No, it's not it. I really want to show you this.